block your accounts. I used to, but I reached a point of if you can't beat them, join them. I don't think you're an idiot. I don't kick you from this room. So if you're getting kicked from this room, it's
I'm
fine.
not getting kicked from this room. And all I'm trying to say, in your room is that I really have nothing to say other than I just came in here to tell you that I got this amazing text message from some random person saying, "Hey, here's a link to get snatched. They're talking about you. Please join the room. You want it?"
Good for you.
Somebody text messaged me. They didn't tell me their name. They didn't tell me their name, but I saved the number, and that's that. Anyways, it's not like it.
That showed me that number real quick. Thank you.
Well, what's important is what you said. Is that nothing was really interesting. Like, if you guys are ripping on me and roasting me, I just want to hear it because it's fun. I love,
Roasting on you in person.
yeah, I love getting roasted. Yeah, yeah. Change the title. Let's roast John Kitover. Let's roast up John Kitover for brunch. The roast of John Kitover for brunch.
Sounds like a good time.
That's a great ring title.
I'll change the title. Get over roast beef. It's the get over roast beef room. No vegetarian allowed. That's all. I think we need to do something exciting. That's true. We need to have a little. Come tell Kitover how you really feel.
Let,
Like
let John Kitover help you process your lack of emotional intelligence.
once.
Don't tempt yourselves with a good time. I'm not gonna boom your room. I'm here filming content.
I feel like there's probably, I mean, you tell me if you think this is true or not. I don't know that there's anything anybody could say to you that you haven't already heard.
Well, that's what I told myself. That's what I told my psychiatrist after I was 5150. I feel like I've heard everything anyone has ever already said, and there's nothing new that's ever going to be said. And he was like, "Uh oh."
I mean, don't you feel like they all say the same thing? I don't consent to your permission to record me, Mr. Kitover, and you're a disgusting, weird, creepo pervo who sits in your underwear on Instagram. I mean, I just feel like they all come with the same freaking spiel. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes he wears a ball cap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've got a lot of different hats. It kind of shows the progression of time on my YouTube channel, and I also, yeah, I like covering up my bald head because when I see my bald head versus my head with a hat, I'm like, I look a lot better with a hat than with a big shiny forehead.
Dang, you can't rock it? Dang.
This isn't a Pitbull concert. So, Rabono Shalom, social less, I say that's really what people need, which is the book club. And my argument in the atheist theist room is that whether or not God exists or does not exist, most of the complainers who are atheists refuse to pick up any book and read any of it in like a performative artistic way. So what they're really refusing to do is to have fun. And their fun is dunking and roasting theists, people that like the books. So it's a pathetic position, usually inhabited by blobs, men or women who are blobs. And I got to get my schwitz on soon. That means I'm going to go for a power walk, make myself another espresso, and get my sweat going. And then I'm going to go do some yoga poses and pull ups at the park, and push ups and dips and sit ups. And then maybe another hip rotation and another hip rotation. Then I'm going to pick on my hamstring. Then I'm going to do some sit ups. Oh, it's so beautiful outside. Rabono Shalom. If anyone doesn't think God exists, how do you explain a summer day when the bees and the birds and how do you actually explain the happening of the world? I don't think they have ears.
Observe the happening in the world.
Earth.
Currently
Earth.
explaining the happening.
Earth.
Right.
The secret is in the ears.
Can't wear your skivvies.
I'm gonna put a Speedo on and go jogging in a Speedo. Someone call the police! There's a white man in a Speedo jogging at the park.
A white man with Europe, white skivvy.
Oh my God, Monica. I mean, I love you, Monica. I think you're a sweet person and you're funny and you got a great laugh. And I think you add a lot of value and personality and character to this app. But the other day, for 2 hours talking about that stupid bastard at the park who decided to start feeding treats to the Karen who took the dog off the leash. I've taken my dog off at the beach, and the same experience happened to me. There's always that yin to yang and reversal and opposite of the universe that matches you when you decide to take your dog off leash. That's because of personal responsibility. When a dog owner doesn't value their dog and lets their dog do discovery on its own with no, ownership intervention, that's when problems that's when problems begin. So anyways, I'm just saying to talk about it for so long, what a waste of time. We all know that if you are a dog owner and you mistreat and abuse your dog by taking your dog off leash so it can be harmed, you are a jerk. And that Karen is a jerk. Keep your dog on leash and don't let assholes at the park or the beach that want to call you out on your shit. Don't let them call you out in the first place because don't take your fucking dog off leash. Maintain control. Practice personal responsibility. Hello. And I think Serendipity said the same thing, right?
That's right. That's right. Oh, cleaning up after your dog. And that too. I can talk up a
But I will just say, in Monica's defense, when I took my dog off leash at the beach, I was the only one there. The fucking guy ran from the boardwalk to the beachfront and was screaming at. And my dog was the most innocent, non-harmful, non-aggressive, small little nothing. And this guy, he's like, "The dog bit me at the beach a week ago." And he was a beachfront Karen. And, I was actually kind of worried because, if he called the police on me, I didn't want to get a ticket. So I picked up my dog and I left. But that beachfront Karen was very annoying. And he's lucky that I'm not an aggressive, nasty person. And I just wanted to avoid the conflict and de escalate. So I left. But there are people out there that will not de escalate and they will enhance the conflict. And that's the problem with maybe some of the people that have green beans in this room right now. Instead of de-escalating for peace of mind and your own well-being, I think some of you ladies may have in your past, unfortunately, escalated a situation instead of de-escalating. And therefore, well, maybe not, because really it's your experience. And so from your experiential perspective,
it's also my decision.
but is it a smart decision? Is it a smart decision? Is it your best choice to make? That's what I'm questioning.
Don't you think? Because what if I escalate on somebody who was just a troll or whatever on this app, versus if I were to escalate on somebody who is well-renowned doctor and has a Nobel Peace Prize, then maybe I can hear the argument on what's smart and unsmart. But that's a relative decision with to somebody who has not autonomy,
Well, you have your autonomy.
right?
You have your autonomy and you will always be in charge of your choice. I am merely a critic trying to suggest that to optimize your choices, good books and philosophy as opposed to clown house scumbag annoying schmucks who just don't stop talking on this app as if their advice or life experiences in any way shape or form shape your experience for a better way. It doesn't. Listening to Brad talk about jumping into a pond to take a selfie with an alligator doesn't make my life any better by listening to it. But if it's content on YouTube, it's got a little value, just a little, just a
Oh,
tiny
that bad voice is a turn on. Go ahead, girl. Girl.
Well, he told He told Bima yesterday.
You're asking us not, not to listen to what Brad is doing when he goes on these diatribes and these monologues and these long-winded tantrums
Well,
with parody. I get it. Like
he told Bima yesterday he was gonna shove it up her ass. And Bima got excited. Bima got excited. Bima was so happy. I find it amazing how people see, like, you might mix with somebody that you've danced with before, and that's part of life. But I'm just saying, I think eventually this app will shut down and that these conversations will no longer take place and that this communication network will completely disappear as if it never happened to begin with, because I remember what my life was like before this app and I was very happy and I was doing my creative thing. But because of somebody I knew that was using this app and knew I was a creative person, said, "You got to come on this app." And all I can say is that person ripped me off for $10,000, but eventually they gave me my money back because I told them what would happen if they didn't give me my money back. And they agreed that my legal, notification was of sufficient harm to their position. And they said, "Okay, I'm going to give you your money back." So they gave me my money back. All I'm saying is I was happier before this app, and I will be happier when this app shuts down. And the other day, a week or two ago, when this app shut down for 2 hours, I was so happy.
real quiet.
I was so happy.
I've given you a lot of foresight, but I do have one quick question about the same thing you just made. I was happier before Clubhouse came along, and I will be happier after Clubhouse is long gone. Do you think there's a little bit of accountability in that you could choose that happier at any point in time? You don't have to rely on other people? Just wondered. Hi, Francie. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. It's afternoon, my dear, but yeah, I've been doing some housework and continuing to just roll on. I came on Clubhouse this morning and it was a little chaotic. I think Vera was around to see that and Joe B. And it was like I went into two different rooms. I don't need to say where, but it was like I felt like I was in preschool. And I'm not kidding. Like, and it was mostly men that were talking, but they were talking baby talk. It was so odd. But then cussing and talking about getting drunk and stuff. But their voices were like baby talk. And it was like, it's like seventh grade boys behavior. It was kind of like that. Zero and should be maybe else. And then I went to another room and it was the same thing. And I just thought, I'm losing my mind. Are there any adults left? I know. I was going to start there too, but serendipity pinged me. Oh my goodness, Jason. Girl, I thought it was a mess this morning too, a little bit on this app. So I was like, I gotta get away.
I can answer your question. Serendipity, I think there's some projection in the question that you asked me. I would ask you to ask the question again and then ask yourself the question. Hello?
Let me tell you something. I was not here's the difference between you and I was not happier when I came to Clubhouse. Um there for a time, I think I needed the socialization of Clubhouse amongst peers that didn't intimately know my situation. And I generally work pretty hard to curate the experience that I have here. When the net benefit or the net negative outweighs the net positive, I won't be fine. That's the difference. But you're the
Well,
one that
see,
said happier before, and I will be happier when it's long
yeah,
gone.
that's what I said. I know what I said. I know what I said. I'm saying that it's still just your opinion that there's a difference between you and me. Right from the very beginning of your statement, you said here's the difference between me and you. Well, it's just your opinion that there's a difference between me and you. No, I heard what you said. I'm getting to the first part of what you said. It's just your opinion. It's just your opinion. And you can't even tell me the difference between an opinion and a fact. Go ahead. I'll wait. Let me hear your opinion on what the difference is between what an opinion is and what a fact is.
Yeah, I already said it, and it was an opinion versus.
Well, you can't do it because it's a trick question, and maybe you're too smart to not answer a trick question because there are no facts, ladies and gentlemen. There's just these things called opinions. Hello?
Opinions are like assholes. We all have one. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
With moderators or Rory and the.
Well, I told you when I first got here that eventually I would be kicked. I told you what was going to happen before it happened.
Alistair, but this one's blocked.
Listen, anonymous.
I, I don't even generally mind talking.
Listen, if there's an anon,
Just talk in it once in a while, so that he just talks. I just want Francie to speak freely.
Yeah.
Hey, John, keep talking for a minute.
I know. I just wanted to say one last thing that if there is an anon, if there's an anon in your room and you don't know who it is, there's a good chance it's me. But if you want to confirm it's me, all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in John Kitover, click on any live to confirm whether or not that anon is me. Oh, okay.
I know. Hey, Sue. Appreciate you.
Hello.
Hey, John. What you were saying? That I blocked this account, but I unblocked Alistair. Oh. But when I find these streaming rooms that are not on replay, you'll always get removed by me with a swiftness that will make your little PTR spin. There you go.
PTR spinner. But the thing is about the anon is you can't kick out an anon and you can't stop me from live streaming your room. So Serendipity has the right type of attitude when she says I just gave up because what's the point? And that's the truth is you never should have cared from the beginning. And that's a you problem.
Free room. I just shop them in the house. That's all I have to do. Please. Learn to get around this. It's you, John, that you think that you're like teaching us something. No, we're allowing
You haven't gotten around to anything. That's the point. You've gotten around nothing. You've gotten around nothing.
At me. Like, is that so funny?
I know it's so juvenile. It's so pedestrian.
I just want to know, like, this is for the whole room. Why do you want to be in a space where no one wants you? If you're getting the signal that you're not welcome, and that's because
Francie, because that's what the Bible tells me to do, Francie. That's what the Bible tells me to do. I read the Bible. The Bible told me to do it.
I don't know. Mocking God is not really something.
It's not mockery, Francie. You want to hear the verse? That's your opinion. It's mockery. You want to see the verse? Hello? You didn't even ask. You didn't even ask. You just said it's like your opinion or something. I think I got a shelf space, like a life space, like when you buy food, do not use after this date. Very rarely does it say that. So some people risk it, spoiled milk. So, Francie, I'm just saying that if you want to know the verse, you could ask me or Google. Look it up. It's from a book. Many people on this app don't read books anymore. So if you read a book today, you're in the top 1%. Right. No, but the other day when you were in my room, Monica, and I was reading from a book, and then I got to that part about reading from books and how important it is, you left. You left. You left the reading room.
I will always leave you, John. Okay, one of the reasons why I was so patient was I did just complete a text conversation with female Monica, so. Yeah, she's good. She's fine. Nothing dramatic, nothing problematic. She's just got some stuff at home going on and she needs to redirect some attention. Alrighty. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
Well, it's exhausting having to water up.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's true. It is basically free talk therapy access to your psychiatrist to office anytime you want it. And that's part of the problem. Because the truth is that people who come here to get their rapid release dopamine from talking, oh, I just jumped into a lake and took a selfie with an alligator. I am Viking. God,
Hello, Brad.
America. I went out with a Hollywood actress once, and she was useless. We went out deep into the forest, and I said, here's a small shovel. Dig us a slit trench so we can take a shit." She was completely ineffective in digging a slit trench. These girls, even though they like to be action characters on the big screen, in the real world, deep in the forest, they're useless. Useless. So I gave up on Hollywood actresses. I gave up on them completely because they are useless. Useless.
Hi, Francie. How are you today? Good, good. How are you? One of my favorite people. Thank you. You too. Uh, John, is that you?
Yeah, that was my Brad the Viking Forest Warrior speech from yesterday.
I'm sorry I didn't hear it. I was using speech to text to message someone. But I did want to say you probably missed it, but there, when Clubhouse was actually normal, the Ayn Rand Society had, like twice a week, had rooms in which they discussed various topics related to Ayn Rand and related to politics of the day. I think you would have found that interesting.
Well, see, there's two.
Ayn Rand.
Yeah, it's there's.
So,
See, Alan, I'm in a book club. This beautiful brunette, Alan, got in my face last night and just wouldn't leave me alone. I was so happy. She was so cute. And as she was pushing her beautiful face closer to my face, she said, "Do you have any advice for me?" And I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Personal development never stops. Start a book club and read books. Read them out loud and always be engaged with books your whole life starting now." She was like, "Oh, I love that for me." And then her friend cock blocked me and dragged her away. And I said, "Goodbye, beautiful. Bye."
yeah, it's always the jealous friends who ruin things. That's happened to me more than once. So that's life. That's life. Yeah, you know, it makes you cry to know that I'm trying to think how to put this. A lot of reading the classics informs a lot of what's happening today, and one realizes, well, gee whiz, nothing's new today. You know, so you read a book like The Bostonians, and you see a very detailed description of what the feminists did at that time, and you see that, well, gee, there's nothing new. They're not doing anything new today. Or reading a book like The Idiot by Dostoevsky and realizing his commentary on atheists or liberals from the 1800s is no different than anything happening now. You're so right about that. And it makes me think of the stack of ladders. Our friend Sig is really into like old.
I got kicked from the room. I got kicked from the room. I said it was gonna happen. It happened, I think, 30 minutes in.
Extending the railway.
Time for the new anonymous show. It is expanding because we're saying. Time for the anonymous show. Time to go. Anon. Out there. So it's the same thing, but Fresno might be impacted. Everything else. We got you, Monica. Like St. Louis, we got you, Monica. Monica. I've seen it happen. And I was wondering why Merced kind of like all of a sudden blew up, just because people can't afford to live in the South Bay, so they go more inward. You can't do Santa Cruz, right? You got to go inside, and what's there in between farmland and the Silicon Valley is Merced. Hi, good afternoon, guys. If it's a good time, I wouldn't mind responding to the question that Tiffany asked earlier, because I thought it was quite interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing in the chat, but the point is, Brian, like I said, like there was, it was just to show, like, we're having this conversation about, these advances, quote unquote, but because this company filed bankruptcy, then it's $550 million. So, anywho, I read the article. I actually was aware of it in April. It's just something that's very sad to me. It's just something that's very, very sad. So, it's just unnecessary. And it especially when we're talking about, we have, food pantries that need things. I'm like, how come? Yeah, like you said, Misa, like, how come? I guess there were no more employees to, like, harvest the fruit. But that, I don't know, and maybe I don't know enough about it. But I'm just like, yeah, that's terrible, Ifa. Like, yes, I know they filed bankruptcy, but we save corporations that file bankruptcy all the time. But yeah, that is just 50,000 tons of peaches. That just seems like such an incredible waste to me. Like, we're talking about robots, but we can't say the damn peaches. I would get the peaches if I was in California. I'll let it go. They should hand the peaches out. This is what I'm not understanding. They might not be able to get every fucking peach out. I don't know what stage of decomposition they're in. I don't know what is going on. But the fresh produce like that, why not just hand it out? There are restaurants who probably come pick it up, bakeries who come pick it up. You said it, pantries who did. I don't know. So I'm sure that people have been reaching out to them after they heard that they got all these peaches, that they can send this stuff out across the state. They send peaches and fruit all up across the states anyway. Why can't you? I'm sure there are groups who have volunteered to come get the peaches, because this farm guy had his in Southern California. This guy who owned a horse ranch, his ranch is in the middle of a fire. I read there's a fire up there now. Maybe by y'all have to tell me what the name of that city is. I guess Ventura County, somewhere in Simi Valley. I'm not sure. So guess what happened? He got on social media because he didn't have any more hay. And those people, the horse people, I guess is a small community. He's getting hay from all over the country, and the people who own the ranches are sending these 18 wheelers with hay, all from all around the country. He's filmed it to donate to him. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So there seems to be a will, but maybe no will, but a way. I don't know. I really don't, but that sounds like a waste, and it sounds like they're doing it on purpose. I could be wrong. Let's investigate more.
So something you could do, and I encourage everybody just for your own personal edification to know what your somewhat local economy is experiencing. Just Google what are the mass layoffs in your state for this year or last year, and it will show you all of these different organizations and explain why. So just not, I know that sometimes people will say like, oh, well, I can't relate to these fruit farms that are having X, Y, and Z. But if you look, like in Tennessee, people don't know we've had major plant closures for Bridgestone, General Motors, a significant number of the companies that are involved in like lumber manufacturing, all those things. It's not just isolated to like, oh, we don't have migrant workers to work these fields. It is all of these jobs in the labor force that we were promised would come back to the U.S. and be amazing. And a lot of them are around, the EV demand keeps changing. Just general, like people just aren't buying some of the things they used to buy. So I just encourage everybody and look those things up, see what the layoffs, how the layoffs are looking. To kind of understand what, not necessarily if your industry is in danger, but what you could probably anticipate as like the next industry. But like, I'm so glad you came up because I do want to hear. I'm not trying to say that no jobs will be gone, but I want to better understand the concern so I can ask my friends in other spaces like, what are you doing as far as AI or technology, and how is that impacting how you are going about your staff?
But I appreciate it. I didn't want to come across the wrong way in the chat, but I mean, it's chat. So I wasn't stating that you are delusional, of course. I mean, I was just stating that there's a lot of people who believe that there will be displacement or actual loss in, staff and positions and capabilities as a result of AI. But I think what I liked particularly about your submission is that you spoke to alternate ways in which the keyword is deployment can actually happen. So, as you're probably familiar, ChatGPT, OpenAI just launched their deployment agency. And the reason for that is the issue that a lot of corporations did not understand the value of AI and how it can actually be used within the organization. So, I mean, of course, a lot of people would assume that, replacing jobs is the necessary conclusion. But like you stated earlier, I mean, there's upskilling, there's ways that we can actually improve the capabilities of, of individuals within the workforce without removing the jobs. So when you ask the question, I mean, particularly which jobs I think will be displaced, the question comes down to the organization and where they think the bottlenecks are. So, I mean, actually, recently, and I mean, not here because it's not that important. Actually, applied for a position with Anthropic. I didn't get it, but I had an interview. And the question was related to my industry that I was in previously, which was insurance, as to what deployment would actually look like. So, I mean, the questions you'd ask, of course, is what is the bottlenecks? What are the expenses? What are the pains that these corporations are actually having? So within insurance, a lot of it had to do with the fact that, like you said, for your positions, I mean, a lot of people don't find insurance sexy. So there wasn't a lot of new staff coming into insurance. And in terms of cost, a lot of people are not aware, but I mean, commissions is actually the biggest cost center for insurance companies. So they were interested in ways they could actually reduce that, whether it is or automation or processes that would actually be easier for them to access the market without agents necessary. So of course, agents would lose their job in that sense, but it would just mean less commission. So to answer your question, I mean, I try to be as high level as possible because I literally believe, like you said, that the way that the technology is deployed is actually very agnostic. So it's going to depend on the organization. It's going to depend on the cost centers. It's going to depend on, like you said, I mean, whether they believe that, the liability.
Now ye shall know that the chosen place that's so infinite space is the prince, priest the bee, and in his woman called the scarlet woman is all power given. They shall gather my children into their fold. They shall bring the glory of the stars into the hearts of men. 16, for he is ever a sun and she a moon. But to him is the winged secret flame, and to her the stooping star. But we are not so chosen. 18 burn upon their brows, those relentless serpents. 19, oh, azure-lidded woman, bend upon them. 20, the key of the rituals is in the secret word which I have given unto him. Now ye shall know that the chosen priest, a soul of infinite space.
What up, Joe? I just got kicked out of Serendipity's room by Monica. Monica! Bunch of Karens, in my opinion. What are you doing today?
Oh, I'm just doing some computer work. I was walking top to speak right now.
Did you see Meta? You live in Louisiana, right?
I live in Alabama. I used to live in Virginia.
I used to have a good friend in the Army from Shreveport. He was a very, very cool guy. But Meta's $10 billion Louisiana data center is getting $3.3 billion in tax breaks, more than 7 years of the state's entire police budget. But anyways, what is Trump doing? Is he in the Rose Garden or something?
No, he's in the where the press secretary speaks.
Oh, really?
He's talking about the war with Iran.
Shit.
It's live right now. He's been talking for a while.
You were locked.
Pull it up.
I think they're about to ramp it up again.
Yeah. Ivan Ranklin just said now that Thomas Massey's gone.
He got attacked. And it had the reverse effect. The neighbors came onto our side and started attacking them, and actually quite successfully. If you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at UAE, Qatar, and others. But they were strong and they were smart, but they got attacked. And nobody, when I first heard it, I said, no, somebody made a mistake. There was no mistake. UAE had over 1,000 missiles shot at it, knocked them almost all down. On the very first day I came down the escalator in 2015, I said, quote, I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. And all I'm doing is keeping my promise. Think of that. That was in 2015. I said it. It was a threat then and a much bigger threat now, but no longer a threat, not for a long time anyway. We want to keep it that way. As we continue Operation Epic Fury, we're also focused on keeping energy and oil flowing to the world. And I will not allow a terrorist regime to hold the world hostage and attempt to stop the globe's oil supply. And if Iran does anything to do that, they'll get hit at a much, much harder level. I will take out those targets that were easy and that I mentioned just before. We'll take them out so quickly, they'll never be able to recover, ever. If they want to play that game, they better not play that game. In the long run, oil supplies will be dramatically more secure without the threat of Iranian ships, drones, missiles, nuclear menace, or anything. So the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain safe. We have a lot of Navy ships there. We have the best equipment in the world, inspecting for mines. Again, most of their ships are down at the bottom of the sea, but we will hit them so hard that it will not be possible for them or anybody else helping them to ever recover that section of the world if they do anything. In recent years, the regime and its terror proxies have launched attacks on hundreds of commercial vessels. We're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil prices, oil and gas prices for American families. We've done that. We've done it. We brought it very low. This was just an excursion into something that had to be done. We're getting very close to finishing that too. In the meantime, during this brief disruption, the United States is offering political risk insurance to any tankers operating in the Gulf. So we're putting up risk insurance. We'll uh, perhaps go alongside of them for protection. We don't think it'll be necessary if it is. And if they do anything, the price will be incalculable. It will be so great that they will have wished they never did it, because you have to keep the straits flowing. With all of that, it affects other countries much more than it does the United States. It doesn't really affect us. We have so much oil. We have tremendous oil and gas, much more than we need. We have Venezuela now as our new partner, great partner. They've worked out so wonderful. We're working with the administration, the president, and it's a massive source of oil, gas, everything. But we're in a very good position, but very unfair to other parts of the world, like China is an example. I mean, we're doing this for the other parts of the world, including countries like China. They get a lot of their oil through the straits. So we're doing this. We have a very good relationship with President Xi in China. I'm going there in a short period of time, and we're protecting the world from what these lunatics are trying to do, and very successfully. We're also waiving certain oil-related sanctions to reduce prices. So we have sanctions, and some we're going to take those sanctions off till this straightens out. Then who knows? Maybe we won't have to put them on. There'll be so much peace. But when the time comes, the U.S. Navy and its partners will escort tankers through the strait if needed. I hope it's not going to be needed, but if it's needed, we'll escort them right through. And we have the greatest mine sweeping ability. We have the greatest ships and all of it. We know exactly where they're placed. We'll get them out of there very fast, but we hope we don't have any of that. And again, if they do that, if they play that game, we're going to hit them at a level that they have not seen before. So we're winning very decisively. We're way ahead of schedule. It's our military is the greatest in the world, with the greatest equipment and the greatest people in the world. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Iran's a very powerful country. They were going to take over the Middle East. If we did not hit them, they were going to take over the Middle East. They had thousands and thousands since their last hit. They had thousands and thousands of missiles and everything else. Most are now destroyed. But they were going to take over the Middle East. Those weapons were aimed at Middle Eastern countries that had nothing to do with this. they were going to take over the Middle East and they were going to try and destroy Israel. So we stopped it with good timing, and we're very proud to be involved in this, and it's going to be ended soon. And if it starts up again, they'll be hit even harder. Thank you very much for being here. Go ahead. Any questions?
You, thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Do you approve of Iran's new supreme leader? And secondly, can you tell us more about your call with Russian President Vladimir Putin today?
Yes.
What did you discuss?
Yes, I had a very good call with President Putin. We had a lot of people on the line from our side, from his side. We were talking about Ukraine, which is just a never-ending fight. And when look, there's tremendous hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky. They can't seem to get it together. But I think it was a positive call on that subject. And we obviously talked then about the Middle East. And he wants to be helpful. I said, you could be more helpful by getting the Ukraine-Russia war over with. That would be more helpful. But we had a very good talk, and he wants to be very constructive. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
talking
soon.
about days.
I think so.
Okay, and with respect,
Very soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership. In fact, there are two levels of leadership, and even actually, as it turns out, more than that. But two levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never even heard about the leaders that they're talking about. So it's obviously been very, very powerful, very effective.
Cuba, you said that Cuba wants to make a deal.
Yes.
What would the United States get in return for that? And why should Americans trust Marco Rubio to negotiate it?
Well, Marco Rubio is doing a great job. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Look at what we've done as a president, what we've done as an administration. They trust Marco, and so do the American people trust. He's been successful no matter where he's been. He also speaks the language, which is always nice and always helpful. But he's dealing, and it may be a friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're really they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And we don't want to see that, but they were very, very bad to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of people living the Cuban American vote, which I got at record levels. Very important. Those people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban American business people, some of them are like the most successful.
As a freelancer and content creator, some months are great, some months are just not it. Here's how I make this wave earning.
Long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off Venezuela. Now they don't live off Venezuela. It sends them no energy, no fuel, no oil, no money, no nothing. They lived without Venezuela. They couldn't have made it, and we cut them off from everything else. So, yeah, they're going to make either a deal or we'll do it just as easy anyway. Yeah. Please. Go ahead.
Missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroy that Iranian girls' school. So will the Americans, will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I haven't seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, sold and used by other countries, that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more. But whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic. It's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. President, you've said the war is, quote, very complete, but your defense secretary says this is just the beginning. So which is it, and how long should Americans be?
Well, I think you can say both. The beginning, it's the beginning of building a new country, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft equipment. It's all been blown up. They have no radar, they have no telecommunications, and they have no leadership. It's all gone. So you could look at that statement. We could call it a tremendous success right now as we leave here. I could call it, or we could go further, and we're going to go further. But the big risk on that war has been over for 3 days. We wiped them out in the first 2 days. When you think about it, it's incredible. We wiped out a big navy, very powerful navy. These were ships. These were serious ships. These were ships that you buy when you want to win battles. They're all on the bottom floor. The sailors are all running off their ships. They refuse to get on the ships. Uh, the Air Force is gone. Everything's gone. The missiles are down to a trickle. The drones are down to probably 25%, and they'll soon be down to nothing. We'll have where they manufacture the drones are under fire as we speak. They're being hit. So the rest is going to be determined.
Attacking him as he's giving him a speech. Giving a speech.
Administration, what we want to do. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Can I ask you? You mentioned you were going to waive certain additional oil waivers or sanctions. Can you talk a little bit more about that and address in particular?
Well, we're looking to keep the oil prices down. We went artificially up because of this excursion into a very positive thing. I mean, this was an excursion that a lot of people wouldn't have done. I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to be this quickly successful. This was a military success, the likes of which people haven't seen. We have the best military. We have the best equipment. We have, I believe, the best generals. We have the best. And this went very quickly. We talked about that with President Putin. He was very impressed with what he saw because nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. Iran was a very powerful military country with all of the missiles. Now, you had the double attack. You had the original attack with us in Israel, and that knocked them for a loop. Then you had the B-2 bombers, which took out their nuclear capability, and they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to 4 weeks, and they would have used it long before this press conference, and we might have had a much different press conference if we had a press conference at all. But it's been amazing. The military success that we've had is truly unprecedented.
You told your congressional colleagues that you will not sign any piece of legislation until the Save America Act is passed. Does that include the confirmation of Senator Mullen as your next DHS secretary? Does that mean a DHS funding bill? And Senator Thune said today it's not a matter of whether or not your Republican colleagues agree with the policy. It's about changing the process. In other words, getting rid of the filibuster to get.
So in order to get it, you're going to need Democrat votes. And what we're saying is the Save America, not the Save Act, which nobody knew what it was, the Save America Act, the Save America Act. And that's voter ID. We want voter ID. We want to be able to see a picture of the voter. We want to be able to see that the voter is legitimate. We want, very importantly, confirmation that this voter is a citizen of the United States of America, and we want no mail-in ballot scams. So we have exceptions for the military, for sick, for disabled, and for people that are away, business trips or whatever. Even vacations will be very liberal. Now, we've added two things to it: no men and women's sports, and no transgender mutilization of our children. We don't want it's the mutilization of our children, and we don't want that. So we added those two things. That's the 5 points. We have 5 very good points. It polls at 86% with Democrats. Think of that. The overall vote is 86%. With Republicans, it's 98%. And the only one opposed to it is the Democrat leadership because they cheat. They want to cheat. So we added those 2 points. We're going for the gold, and we're going to have to fight like hell. Now, certain things will happen, certain things will take place. I'm here to do a great job for the country, but we don't have a country if we're going to have elections that are so corrupt and so dishonest like we've witnessed over the last period of time. As an example, virtually nobody has, nobody has a system of mail-in ballots like we have. No other country in the world. France went away from it. They all went, you know why? Because it's corrupt. And Jimmy Carter, when he had a commission, frankly, I think it's probably the best thing Jimmy Carter did. He said, you can't have mail-in voting because it's inherently dishonest. And it's turned out to be totally dishonest. So we're going to fight for it. Yeah.
Iran activated any sleeper cells inside the U.S. There's reports that they have pressed that trigger button to activate those cells, at least abroad.
Well, they've been trying for a long time. We've been very much on top of it. One of the things we have to do is get the Democrats to stop the Democrat shutdown, because, as you know, the apparatus that looks into that, Schumer and the Democrats have shut it down, which tells you they probably hate our country a lot. But the Democrats have to open that up. But we've got very, very good intelligence into that. We know a lot of different things that have happened that have been very bad. A lot of them came in during the Biden open border period, but we have them under. We've got them. We're watching every single one of them. Yeah, we know a lot about them. The biggest problem we have is the Democrat shutdown. We know a lot about them, but the shutdown doesn't allow us to do what we have to do.
Do you have to take him out? Does he have a target on his back?
You mean the new supreme leader? You mean the son?
How can there be an Iran?
Well, I don't want to say that, but I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
Thank you, sir. You said you have someone in mind to be the new Iranian leadership, if not the Ayatollah's son. What are you looking for in that person? Are you looking at someone internal, given that you just said that their leadership has been?
I like the idea of internal and eternal. Come to think of it, but I like the idea of internal because it works well. I mean, I think we've proven that so far in Venezuela. We have a woman, Delcy, who has been, president of the country, very respected, she's doing a great job. And it's, no disruption. We had, as you remember, Iraq, when everybody got fired. The military got fired, the police got fired, the politicians got fired. There was nobody. And you know what they turned into? ISIS. And we don't want that. We don't want that. So I would like to see people that are inside go. Now they talk about the son of the Shah. They talk about other people, but hasn't been there in many, many years. We have a formula that's been very good so far, and I think it'll continue to be good. The relationship is extraordinary with Venezuela, smart country. We've taken out 100 million barrels of oil. It's right now in Houston being taken care of and made so beautiful. And you have to see this at work. They have it's brought to the refineries. It's being refined in Houston, which is made exactly for that product. And so far, but it's 100 million barrels of oil, and now they have another 100 million barrels coming. And it's like a partnership. We're getting along so well with them. It's great for Venezuela and it's great for the United States. Yeah, please go ahead.
Mr. President, you just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report. Yeah, please.
You said earlier that we've already won in many ways, but we haven't won enough. What do you consider enough? What's your baseline?
Where they're not going to be starting the following day to develop a nuclear weapon. Where they'll look at that man and some other people from the administration and say, all right, we're not going to do it. They were not willing to say that. And when Steve called up and he said that to me, I said, well, here we go. Let's do it the hard way. But the hard way, I think, is probably the easy way. When basically I can see that they will no longer have any capacity whatsoever for a very long period of time of developing weaponry that could be used against the United States, Israel, or any of our allies. We have great allies in the Middle East, great countries that are allies. And they were staying out of it until they got hit.
Legislation about to be voted on threatens home and auto insurance as you know it, with fewer coverage options.
Hit them. If I didn't hit them first, they were going to hit our allies first. I believe on information and belief, but I believe that he was going to. They were going to take over the Middle East. They were looking to take over the Middle East. Now, had Operation Midnight Hammer not taken place, that was definite, because they would have had a nuclear weapon within a matter of weeks. But that took place. That was a setback. But look at the number of missiles they were able to buy and make over the last 6 months. And those missiles were aimed at various countries. Now, when you look at over 1,000 missiles shot at like UAE, they were looking to take over the Middle East. We got there first. We're lucky. I'll tell you what, the Middle East and those countries, very rich countries, are very lucky that I was president instead of somebody else.
Points of disagreement between yourself and your vice president when it comes to U.S. action in Iran?
I don't think so. No, we get along very well on this. He was, I would say, philosophically a little bit different than me. I think he was uh, maybe less enthusiastic about going, but he was quite enthusiastic. But I felt it was something we had to do. I didn't feel we had a choice. If we didn't do it, they would have done it to us. I felt, based on the negotiations that were being had by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco and Pete and everybody was involved, I felt that they were looking to tap us along before they hit, and I thought they were going to hit. And if they hit us first, that would have been a very bad thing. In the back, please, in the back. Straight, you mean? Yeah, well, I want to keep it open. I want to keep it good. You know, it doesn't pertain to us so much as it does to China. We're really helping China here and other countries because they get a lot of their energy from the Straits. But hey, look, we have a good relationship with China. It's my honor to do it. Yeah.
Leader, you have called him an unacceptable choice. So does he have a target on his back? And how can you say?
I don't want to say whether or not he does because that would be inappropriate. But hey, look, I had a target on my back because, as you people wrote pretty well, they caught the assassin that was after me. So we just got them first, but they caught the assassin. They have him now in custody that was after me. So, but people don't like to mention that, but they did catch him. And I'd like to congratulate our military, Secret Service, FBI, all of the people that worked on that, but they did. Yeah, please. Go ahead. No, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You promised the Iranian people you would help them, but it sounds like you're willing to end this fight after your military objectives have wrapped up. Isn't that a betrayal?
I help them. I'd like to, if they can behave, but they've been very menacing. They're great people. They have an amazing population. It's amazing, smart, brilliant, energetic. They have a great point. I'd love to help them, but they have to be in a system that allows them to be helped. And now you add that up to all of the other things, Midnight Hammer, getting rid of the nuclear threat from Iran, which was a big moment in history, in my opinion, and the great success we've had in Venezuela and all other places. Every place we've gone, we've had tremendous success. But while we're doing all these things, we're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete. We've wiped every single.
We skipped there. I'm not
in Iran.
not sure if it's still the live feed, but
Most of Iran's naval power has been
yeah,
on the bottom of the sea.
I think we somehow lost the live. Let me see if there's another one.
But now everybody's doing this. Watch.
How far do you drive? Doesn't matter how old your car is. Doesn't matter where you live. For full coverage as low as $37 a month, all you.
What happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm sorry, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they call me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us from, he was 40 miles away. And he said, you know, we're seeing something.
Was I playing? It's so hard to know.
And they kept the camera on.
Pretty sure this is the correct live.
Probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving. This is a vast mountain, vast, thick, with bushes, trees. He said, we see something moving 40 miles away. It was the head of a human being, I'm telling you, it's moving. And then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, he moved a lot. Stood up, and they said, we have him. And that was really the beginning of something incredible. We had an idea where he was, but not specifically. That's a big mountain. So I want to thank the CIA too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. Country has an army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership.
Thank you.
I have two quick questions, Mr. President. What was your reaction when you learned that Kurdistan had resumed exporting oil to the international market with your support as United States of America?
Well, I expected that. We've gotten along with the Kurds for a long time, so I expected that.
What would be your reaction if the Iranian people rise up against their regime during a ceasefire, Mr. President?
Well, they should do it, but again, the consequences are great. I mean, they were told you, if you protest, you will be shot immediately. You saw what happened to the young wrestler. He was a great champion, by the way. He was a great wrestler, one of the top in the world. And he and his two friends were hung. And all they did was say a little bit about liberty. They wanted liberty, and they were violently executed. But the number is up to probably 45,000 people were killed. So, you know, when somebody stays in a house, when they know if they walk out of the house to protest, they'll be immediately shot and killed. And they issued that, you know, that was publicly issued. It's not a secret. That's why so many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this way? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You know, we got regime change. We do. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical. We have regime change, but we didn't do this for regime change. We did it for the fact, and my view was very simple. I saw somebody said, "Oh, he doesn't have a plan. I have the best plan of all, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is." You know, they want me to say, "Here's my plan. We're going to attack at 9:47 in the morning, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to." And if you don't do that, they say, "I have a plan." These people know what the plan is. Everybody here knows what the plan is, but it's very unfair to say we don't. Because I don't mind being insulted. I've been insulted for many years by the fake news, but you can't. It's so bad for people that are so pro. You just saw two great and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people. They have a plan. Every single thing has been thought out by all of us. But I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, you know, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, they would be, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protests where they had 400,000, 500,000 women and they were all enthused and they were going to protest and everybody said, oh, the regime's going to come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 5, 6 different areas. A woman would go down right between the eyes. They had snipers. They had 5 snipers. That's all it took. And those 4 or 500,000 women said, "Oh my God, what's that? Oh, look over there. What's that?" A woman shot right between the eyes. And after 5 or 6 of them go down, then you start hearing the purr through the vast number of people. And then they said, "Oh my God, who would do that?" And they're incredible people, but they've lived so horribly. They've lived so horribly. You know, Iran was a great country if you go back 25 years ago or so. The Persian people, they're incredible, smart, brilliant, actually. And I know so many. I know coming from New York, originally, I know so many people from Iran. They're incredible people, incredible energy, and very, very brilliant. Case of the woman. Remember the Great Woman March? Everybody was saying, "Oh, this is the end of the country." And then snipers selectively picked. Every single one was shot right between the eyes from a long distance. They were on top of buildings. Nobody even knew where they were, where they coming from. This wasn't like a machine gun, which is also very bad. They've done that too. They did that recently. This was snipers sitting on the top of buildings, aiming and hitting women. And when they see people go down, and all of a sudden there's a riot in the reverse direction, and they never came out again. And a lot of the news doesn't talk about. They talk about, oh, women's rights. You want to see women's rights? You're not going to see it there. It's amazing when I see some of the stupid people like AOC plus 3, all that group. They talk about, oh, freedom for Iran. They don't tell you the real facts. Women, men, gays. How about gays for Iran? They kill the gays. They throw them off buildings. So I wonder what's going on. I can only say this: they want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran, but it's very hard for them to protest. I actually tell them, I said, "Don't go out." I fully understand. Nobody in this room would go out. I don't think there's any because, frankly, it's not a question of bravery. We're all brave. Right? You're brave. I'm brave. We're all brave, but we're also intelligent. If you have people shooting at you, expert shots with the best rifles you can get, and hitting you right between the eyes every single time, and you're looking here and you're saying, and you're looking here, you're out of there. I don't care who. I know that. I'm watching. No, Jeff. We go back to the weekend. First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through with the operation this weekend? Not everybody was on. Somebody else with it. No, there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board, which was very important. Roberto had a little difficulty, but no, there were military people that said you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. This is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where the military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons. I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said that's not possible, but it is possible because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some of the helicopters, how they got hit. So yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately, in the operation? I'd love to keep that a secret. But okay, well, yeah. And I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds and hundreds of these people. That's pretty good. Is he central casting? But hundreds of people went into this journey. Hundreds of people could have been killed. Forget about the equipment, a lot of equipment, nobody cares. Hundreds of people could have been killed. So we had people that were within the military that said this is not a wise, and I understood that, but I decided to do it.
You were thinking there's too much on the line, and somebody was saying maybe we abort this now and wait. I mean, given the resources that general, it seemed like there was so much on the line here. You must have been thinking, well, this could completely change.
The first one, which was in many ways as dangerous as the second, I guess it gets, was we're flying over daylight. You know, we're the best at the world at night. We have goggles that nobody. We have goggles. I've tried them, but unbelievable. I see better with the goggles at night than I see without them during daylight. I mean, daylight today, we have a beautiful day. You see just as well with goggles. In many ways, it's enhanced. So we have the best in the world. So it's much safer for us to do it at night. Whereas other people, no other country has that capability. They don't have that particular piece of equipment like we do. But when I was told flying and in daylight, I think we flew 7 hours over Iran, and that's a long time, over unbelievably hostile territory where they have nothing but weapons. We took out their anti-aircraft, which is great. We took out their radar, which is great. We took out a lot, but they still have, what hit this one was a handheld shoulder missile, heat-seeking missile. So it's not like, they're totally whatever. And they had probably a little luck because you got to get lucky. But they shot it and it got sucked in right by the engine. But these guys were out of there. They were great. Their timing was great. But no, I was told that this is a very dangerous mission. I understood. They didn't say it's a foolish mission. They said, we're going to be sacrificing hundreds of people to this. I mean, you have tankers that are flying over this area so that because the flight was so long, they had to refuel. It's a very dangerous mission. I just felt it was worth it. If you would have told me that we would have been successful, gotten both, and nobody was even essentially injured, I would have said that would be impossible. Yeah,
Mr. President, thank you very much.
I'll come back to you. Given that you are now dealing, you say, with a more reasonable, less extreme leadership in Iran, what does that mean for the protesters, for the human rights movement in that country after this time? What's your expectation?
Yeah, if they assume control, if we do something and they assume control, I think it's very positive, a big step. I don't think you'd see the radicalization that you have seen in the last. Look what happened. I mean, women are being executed because they're not properly clothed. They say they're not properly clothed, and they execute the women. They shoot them right on the street. No, you have a much different group of people. Now, I'm not saying we are dealing with them. Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern time. But we are dealing with them. I think it's going well. Mr. Witkoff is here, and JD's involved in the dealing. Mr. Witkoff is sitting right here, and I think it's going fine. But we'll have to see. You have to understand, we've been dealing with these people for 47 years. I'm standing here with a much more powerful Iran as of a month ago, not anymore. Right now, they are decapitated. But I'm standing here a month ago with a much more powerful Iran than it was at any point during 47 years. This should have been handled by 7 presidents, a lot of presidents. And those presidents are saying now, every one of them to their friends, we should have done this a long time ago. So it's not something I like doing. It's very dangerous, and we're getting them at the height of their strength. If I didn't terminate the Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal, they would have had don't forget, that was a path to a nuclear weapon. Remember this. He chose Iran over Israel, pure and simple. How Israel can vote for a Democrat is if you're Jewish in New York City or any place else in this country, and how you can vote for a Democrat is unbelievable because he chose Iran, a very hostile Iran. Remember when he filled up a 757 with cash, billions of dollars of cash, and he sent it over to them. Then they gave them tens of billions of dollars. He chose Iran over Israel and really the Arab world, if you look, because the other Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. I mean, you take a look. I mean, I can add Kuwait and I can add Bahrain, and you can add others. He chose such an unlikely candidate. Nobody could believe it. Frankly, if you're going to choose between Iraq and Iran, he should have befriended Iraq. He went in the exact opposite direction of all thinking. And he made a terrible mistake. But that was a road to a nuclear weapon.
Here's to time out on the water, to living your best life while enjoying the lake.
Yeah. You know, countries don't do 10-year deals. Countries do hundreds of years. You don't do a 10-year deal. For a country, this isn't, you're a landlord, you're renting a store on a certain street and you give somebody a 5-year or 10-year lease. This is a country. It was a short-term deal. It was ready to expire. I terminated it before it expired. It took a lot of heat, and it was one of the best things I ever did because he would have had a nuclear weapon. Then he would have had another nuclear weapon, had those beautiful B-2 bombers not gone in 8 months ago and obliterated that site. And by the way, the word is obliteration. CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't complete. It was so complete that they still haven't been able to get it. It was obliteration. But if we didn't hit them, that was a courageous decision too, because we had all those planes flying in at night with very little cover, unbelievable stealth planes, and they were able to do their job. If we didn't do that, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon at a high level, either one of those two instances. And if they did, in my opinion, I told this to Bibi Netanyahu yesterday, Israel would have been extinguished. Large portions of the Middle East would have been extinguished, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, or others. And you saw that with thousands of missiles raining down upon them. They didn't think they were going to be hit. They thought they'd be watching us fight. And all of a sudden, UAE got hit by 1,500 missiles. He would have taken them out also. And they were powerful. If I didn't come along and terminate the Obama deal, which was terrible, the Iran nuclear deal was a road to a nuclear weapon, a big one, unlimited, legally. I terminated it without even much thought. It was so easy. I terminated that, and then the B-2 bombers. And I did one other thing. I had killed Qassam Soleimani, who was an evil genius. And the reason I did it, I heard he was going to knock out 5 of our military bases. And had he lived, I believe we would be fighting perhaps a different Iran right now because he's never been replaced, you know. And I did one other, but this one was not picked up. Osama bin Laden. If you read my book, I said you got to take him out 1 year before the World Trade Center came down. So I wish you'd read the book. But you, as a president, to be a good president, I believe you have to have good instincts, and a lot of this is instinct. Yeah, please.
Last week you suggested that Europe should take the lead on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Has circumstances changed now that you're issuing a direct 48-hour ultimatum? And secondly, would a new ceasefire include Israel, or would it just be between Iran and the US?
But I can tell you that we have a active, willing participant on the other side. They would like to be able to make a deal. I can't say any more than that.
Excuse me, please. Let's take it. My name is Kitover. I'm with the largest critic video out there, only on weekend network. It's based in Iran. Mr. President, you said before that you don't want the Kurdish forces to enter Iran and disarm it. Do you still want them to stay away? Or what role do you expect them to play now?
I'd rather have them stay away. I'd rather have them stay away because I think they bring with them some problems and some difficulties. They bring death. I mean, you know, to themselves. But I'd rather have them stay away.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the question. Deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure violate the Geneva Conventions and international law. I'm with the New York Times, stolen from the New York Times. For you, circulation way down. Are you going to your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to times?
No, I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators.
Why would that?
And because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And if somebody that takes my place someday is weak and ineffective, which possibly that will happen because we had numerous presidents that were weak, ineffective, and afraid of Iran, we're never going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you think it's okay for people that are sick of mind, that are tough, smart, and sick, really sick, from a policy standpoint, from a any which way you want to say, mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have a nuclear weapon, you can tell your friends at the New York Times, not going to happen. You no longer have credibility at the New York Times. Because the New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election, and it won in a landslide. I won every swing state. New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election. New York Times has no credibility. The credibility they have is it used to be all the news that's fit to print. The old gray lady, it was great, but they're running on past fumes, and you can't keep doing that. You have to be able to give the correct news. And people like you, who I know, are fake. You're fake. Go ahead, please.
Your messaging on the war has moved from the war is coming to an end, the war going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages. And we've heard a range of those sort of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down? Are you escaping?
I don't know. It depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this, but we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and after that, they're gonna have no bridges. They're gonna have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah, Stone Ages.
Are you willing to make a deal that does not include reopening the Strait of Hormuz, or is that now a top priority?
I would say it's a very big priority because, see, that's one thing that's a little different than other things. We can bomb the hell out of them. We can knock them out for a loop. But to close the strait, all you need is one terrorist that somehow has a truck loaded with, because you can carry them in trucks, large trucks, a water mine, drop them in the water. And now you tell people that own ships that cost $1 billion to don't worry about the mine. You can do that even just by saying we put mines in the water. So it's not like the rest. We can knock out their military. We already have. We've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force completely. We've knocked out 158 ships in 3 days. We've knocked out even their mine droppers. They don't have any mine droppers anymore, but they put them on other boats, and they could drop them. I'm not even sure they have any mines there, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm personally, they say there might be 8. I don't know. I think there might be none. Because they're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents, and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're at the weakest point they've ever been. They have no Navy, they have no.
Most of my income comes from my freelance work, which ranges from $1 to $2 a month. Amount of house content creation ranges.
Communication. In fact, the biggest problem we have in our negotiation is that they can't communicate. I said to Steve, what are they saying? Sir, they can't communicate. They have no method of communication. So we're communicating like they used to communicate 2,000 years ago with children, bringing a note back and forth. They have no communication, but all I want to see is I want to have a safe world, and you're not going to have a safe world. Israel will be gone, the Middle East will be gone, and then they're coming for Europe. And I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed in NATO. Very. I think that NATO, I think it's a mark on NATO that will never disappear. Never disappear in my mind. You know, they're coming to see me on Wednesday. They're going to say, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. Now they all of a sudden want to send things, you know. But they said it loud and clear at the beginning when I spoke to UK of all. I would have said they would have been the first because they're the oldest. And I say, yeah, I'd love to have a little help. He said, no, sir, we'd rather wait till you win. I said, I don't need help after we win. They have two old broken aircraft carriers, barely work. I said, I guess we can use them. Who the hell knows? I called the general. He didn't even want. He said, we don't really need them. We got the SS Abraham Lincoln, sir. We don't need them. Do you know we have, in terms of technology, we had one day 101 missiles going at 2,700 miles an hour aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. 101 missiles. Out of 101 missiles, 101 missiles were shot down. Unbelievable technology. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know if that would have been possible. But 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been possible. 101 missiles heading to a ship that's not that far off the coast. And out of the 101 missiles, we shot down all 101. We have weaponry. The Patriots are unbelievable. We have weaponry. That's unbelievable. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said earlier today during the egg roll that you would like to take Iran's oil, but want U.S. forces home.
Correct.
What's that?
If I had my choice, yeah, because I'm a businessman first. With Venezuela, as you know, the war was over in about 45 minutes. And we have great people running Venezuela, very good people. I mean, the relationship is good. And we are a partner with Venezuela. And we've taken hundreds of millions of barrels, hundreds of millions. Over 100 million barrels already is in Houston, refined and out. And paid for that war many, many times over. Many times. And you know, the old days, to the victim. Okay, do you know that? To the winner belong the spoils. Go the spoils. And I've said, why don't we use it? To the victor, go the spoils. And we don't have that. We haven't had that in this country probably in 100 years, because even the Second World War, you look at the Second World War, we didn't have it with the Second World. We helped rebuild all those countries. We rebuilt Germany. How about Germany telling us that, well, it's not their war. We had nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go and tell them everything I was doing. We didn't know anything about it. Well, if I would have told them, they would have leaked it, and we wouldn't have been nearly as successful, possibly, right? But to the victor belong the spoils. So we haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years. Now with Venezuela, and we just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. But we're very happy with the president-elect that we have right now. The people that are running it. If you remember Bush with Iraq, they fired the generals, they fired the police, they fired the people that worked in their equivalent of the White House. They fired everybody. And you know what they had? They had a mess. And you know what happened? ISIS formed. Those generals and those soldiers got together. The police got together. They all got together. They formed ISIS. Not going to happen with us. So Venezuela has been it's been an incredible situation. We went in. We were very successful. Military power like nobody's ever seen. The general, Venezuelan general, said, I was on that site. I said, I've never seen ferocity like that. I've been doing this for 40 years. He said, I've never seen it. They hit us from 17 different, they were all set. They saw that big, beautiful aircraft carrier, the Ford in that case, and planes were pouring off it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So typically when you see that late at night, you know, you could be in trouble, right? And were already, they had their equipment, it was Russian, and they had Chinese equipment. It was all set. They were going to give us a fight. He said, and then they came, and they came at speeds like we've never seen. And they came at 17 different angles. The general and his people, that was a lot of angles. They hit him from every angle. He said, we knew it was over in 3 minutes. We were waiting for them. Their equipment didn't work. And there's a reason it didn't work. Someday we'll explain that to people. They pressed the button, nothing happened. They pressed it again and again, nothing happened. And he said, we knew this whole thing was over in 3 minutes. We've never seen any, he used the word ferocity. The ferocity of these planes from 17 different angles, and it was over. They went inside. And remember, that was on a military base with thousands of soldiers. And those soldiers looked and they said, get the hell out of here. Thousands. We didn't have thousands. We had like 200 people. So we have a great military. And I'll tell you what, somehow this rescue captured the world's attention, more so than normally. You're talking about two people. But this rescue captured the world's attention. But we did it in Venezuela, and that was amazing. And now we have a very bad man in prison and going to trial. I mean, he released, aside from the drugs, which he was terrible, Maduro released hundreds of thousands of people from jails into our country. Drug dealers, murderers, the worst people in the world were released into our country because we had a stupid president who probably didn't know, and we had a border czar who never went to the border and never once called our great border patrol agents, right? Not once, Kamala. She never called the border patrol. She never said, how we do? I used to call the border patrol guys every day. You can ask them, Paul, ask any one of them. Brandon, ask them. All of them, how are we doing? How are we doing the border? And we now, I'm proud to say, have a totally sealed border. 9 months, nobody is coming through our border. And nobody even tries because they know they're not going to get through. So we don't have caravans anymore. So maybe one or two more and we'll be done.
Mr. President, are you allowed to, or are you willing to end this conflict with Iran charging tolls for passage through the strait?
Us charging tolls?
Iran.
What about us charging tolls?
Is that something you're considering?
I'd rather do that than let them have them. Why shouldn't we? We're the winner. We won. Okay. They are militarily defeated. The only thing they have is the psychology of, oh, we're going to drop a couple of mines in the water. No, we have a concept where we'll charge tolls. Okay. I thought you meant your question would have been more accurate if you said us. Go ahead.
So just to clarify, in order for Iran to successfully meet your deadline tomorrow, do they have to make a deal, open the street, or vote?
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil and everything else.
Thank you very much. You said glory be to God in this conflict. Do you believe that God supports the United States' actions in this?
I do, because God is good. Because God is good. And God wants to see people taken care of. God doesn't like what's happening. I don't like your dad greatly.
Is that easier to do as a billionaire? We maxed out our credit cards. So
People say, oh boy, they're so tough. I don't like seeing people killed. I've ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever done it. The person who won the Nobel Prize came to me and said, you deserve the Nobel Prize. She announced that. When they announced, they said, goes to Maria. She's a great person, really a good person. She said, no. This is ridiculous. They gave me the Nobel Prize. President Trump ended 8 wars. I could go over every one of them, including India and Pakistan, where the Prime Minister of Pakistan said, President Trump saved from 30 to 50 million lives. That makes me much happier than what we're doing right now. That makes me much happier. We have one more to end, but
Truth Social, you call the Iranians crazy bastards. True. What is your response to critics who say that? I don't hear about critics. What's your response to critics who say that it is your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I heard that. But if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're going to have more people. Dasha, go ahead. Dasha.
Very little is off limits in Iran as far as targeting,
Yeah.
including power plants, bridges. You mentioned those.
Very little is off limits.
Are there certain kinds of civilian targets, though? I'm thinking.
I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you that. We have a plan because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. I ever do this again. That's going to be the head of my Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we worked it that way, didn't we? It's amazing. He took out ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I was told it would take 4 years. I flew to Iraq to find out with the greatest equipment in the world why would it take 4 years. And he told me, sir, it won't. It'll take 4 weeks and you'll have time left over. And that's exactly what happened. So he's great. And Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up and said, what a great choice he was. They said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm sorry, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us from, he was 40 miles away. And he said, we're seeing something moving up in the mountain. This is at night. And they kept the camera on him for 45 minutes.
I think it's looping.
Probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving.
I think it looped. Anyways, I think that pretty much concludes it because he said he was only going to do 1 or 2 more questions. Any thoughts, opinions, comments, questions, ideas, or opinions? Now is your time to be heard. Raise your hand. Hello. You're not happy? Well, you have to have faith and let it go. Well, Trump has already, as he said, he's destroyed their navy. He's destroyed their missile capacity. He has beat them up so badly. But the problem is they can't communicate because they're operating off of 7th century communication networks, having little children pass notes to the fucking intelligence that's running the network. So we have a failure to communicate. The deal, the tomorrow, 8 a.m. If they don't comply, they don't come back into compliance, he's sending them back to the Stone Age. That means
Right?
compliance means whatever compliance means to Trump. That's what it means. He said it.
I don't get it. So what are we getting?
Well, you just heard him say that back in the day, we would get the money, we would get the oil. To the victor goes the spoils. To the victor goes the spoils.
What do we get from Iran in that deal? What are we getting?
It's undefined.
What?
It's not definable. It's just not.
You dropped out. What did you say?
I said it's undefined and undefinable, that the fog of war and the gray zone is where it's at.
So we beat them up a little bit, and now we're back to the status quo ante with them weaker. That's what we get.
No, and I just got done talking to someone who's not on social media.
What do we get?
And we were talking about Iran, and basically what he was saying is, she said, all the people who make these comments about what Trump's doing about Iran, they're not thinking logically because.
I just want to know, what are we getting? What are we getting? Let me get it out. Well, no, I don't want to hear about your friend.
Get it out.
Listen,
He's
do me a favor.
He's up.
Don't put the end. We can hear your story.
Why can't I finish?
Are we getting? Okay, try to.
What's going to be that long?
It's all right. Are we getting anything from Iran?
Oh my God! Can you be quiet?
Can you answer the question?
I'm answering it, and you won't be quiet.
Stop whining. You sound like a little girl. What are we getting from Iran?
You won't be quiet.
Christian.
This is the problem.
Christian, no, I'm not gonna. Christian,
A lot of people inside the country.
Christian, I'm asking you what the problem is with the country. I'm asking you what we're getting
for. I have agreed back too.
That's awesome. What are we getting from Iran?
Can you shut up?
No, I can't shut up. What are we getting from Iran?
Oh my God. Let me know when he's done talking.
Oh my God.
And I will talk.
Okay. If you have an answer, just do me a favor.
I have an answer. You won't shut up.
No, it's not me. It's you. What are we getting?
Won't shut up. What you're
okay. All right. Thank you.
You think what you're saying?
No, I want to know the answer to the question. I want to know the answer.
See, these are the types of folks who shouldn't talk about.
Let me keep it simple for you. Let me keep it simple for you. Are we getting anything from Iran? Yes or no? Are we? No answer. Okay. I'll take that as a no.
I'll wait until you get up.
It's okay. It's okay. You have your chance. If you decide to change your mind, please let us know. Arash, welcome to the stage. How you doing?
What's up, y'all? How you doing, Arash? How you doing, Arash?
What are we getting from Iran, Arash?
Happy Memorial Day.
Yeah, it's not Memorial Day yet. What do we get?
Memorial weekend, bro.
What are we getting from Iran, Arash?
I don't know why you're so aggressive. I don't know.
I don't know why. Because you don't know either, right?
I do know, but
okay. Tell us. What is it?
The situation is that whatever happens is not in the benefit of the people of Iran. Trump's doing it.
I'm asking what because from that.
Well, let me talk.
What do you
We're getting a lot of things. You want to have a nuclear bomb?
Say again?
Right? You want to crazy motherfuckers have a nuclear bomb?
I'm asking you, what do we get in this deal?
You're going to get that they don't have a nuclear bomb.
Okay, do they agree to that?
Well, he's working on it, right?
Oh, so we don't get anything yet. He's working on it. So we're getting nothing so far.
Well, that's the most important thing, bro.
Yeah, but we're not getting it.
You can't trust these crazy people with a nuclear bomb.
So are we getting that?
Yeah, Trump called me last night. He told me, yeah, he's getting that.
Okay.
I'm saying that's what the most important thing is. Are we getting it? I hope so.
So in other words, we've gotten that.
So far, no.
Okay, that was my answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So far, no. But
at
the same time, they don't have bullshit military.
I agree.
So the only problem is, and people of Iran, the innocent people, like every country, they're hoping for that 1% chance that maybe out of all this crazy shit, they can maybe just have a regular life. But Trump's not doing it for the people of Iran. But Israel's not doing it for the people of Iran.
Because they have a bad government in charge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Out of all this shit, they're hoping for that 1%.
I think we all know.
Right?
The question is,
they should not have a nuclear bomb.
Well, we know that. The question is if they agreed to that. And the answer is
even if they agree, they're fucking liars.
So we're not getting anything, right?
Yeah, you can't have an agreement with crazy people.
Okay.
Can you?
That's what Trump wants. He wants an agreement with crazy people.
He's trying. He's trying
to do what you and I just said. He's trying to do what you and I just said cannot be done.
Yeah, it cannot be done. Yeah.
So what?
Has to try. The country, the U.S. president, he has to try. So he has to say, listen, I tried. This is why I did this. You know, he has to try.
He did try.
He is trying, but it's not going to fix anything. You can't have a deal with crazy motherfuckers.
Well, I agree with you on that. Yeah. So far what I'm hearing is, I guess they say they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before.
That's up to us if the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open or not.
Well, I thought that's what the deal is.
Yeah, no, well, it's not up to them. It's up to us. But the biggest thing for us,
up to them. They have
what are they going to do?
They're going to attack the boats.
They're going to attack the boats, right?
Yeah.
1 or 2 or 3. But if we want, we're not going to let anybody go through.
It's not up to them. They don't have anything. They have no navy. They have no bullshit. They have no military. They have nothing. It's up to us, right? So anything that happens over there is politics.
John, what's the substance of this agreement?
There's no agreement. There is no agreement.
No,
This was a press conference for Trump to make an ultimatum on a Sunday to capture the world's attention. He talked shit about NATO. He said he was disappointed in Great Britain, disappointed, and so yeah, there's no. This was Trump trying to communicate what's going to happen, which is the obliteration of Iran's energy and communication and transportation network. If they don't come back into compliance and give Trump a peace deal of some sort, something, because as he called them, bullshitters. They love the bullshit.
Why do we want to John? You can't deal with crazy motherfuckers, right? Trump has to do what's politically correct to show people, listen, I tried. I tried to be a good person. I tried to just to make a deal, but these guys are crazy motherfuckers. So if he's going to make an action, which I hope so, he does, right? Then he can say, listen, I tried for 2 or 3 months. These guys didn't.
it's been
Cooperate.
almost 6 months.
Yeah,
5 months.
they cooperate. Done.
No.
But once again, Iran is not going to change until, I don't want to say it, but until there's boots on the ground. Because these I hear told with these, you kill one of them, 5 other motherfuckers come up, right? So once again, it's not about the people of Iran, but I look at it that way as well, right? So I don't know, man. But Trump doing what he's got to do, and he's smart, he's game, and I love him, and he's doing the right thing. We'll see what happens.
Those are nice words, but I don't see any deal here.
Well, you don't have to see it. He knows, maybe.
I don't
Maybe
see
other people.
me,
You or nobody.
Well, speak to this.
Well, listen, but nobody. Listen, we're regular people, right?
No.
No, okay. You're decision, but not me, right?
I'm not asking for a phone call. I'm asking for a deal.
Or you're asking for a deal. Can I have who are you?
Yeah. My name is in my profile.
I see it. Okay,
Yeah.
who are you?
What do you mean?
I mean, I know Trump. I don't know you.
Who are you?
Well, you know who I am. No, I don't have to read it, but why does Trump have to ask for your permission?
I didn't say he had to ask for my permission. I never.
Well, you have an obligation that you he has to communicate with me.
No, he can communicate with the world.
He does. And he's doing a great fucking job.
There's no deal.
Okay? Well, he's doing a great fucking job. I love him. He's doing a great job. Well,
We could send him a Valentine's Day card if you.
Don't worry about that. Before that, I got to call and make sure that Trump said okay, okay?
I'm not worrying about.
All right, cool.
What I'm concerned with is Iran.
Honestly, I don't care.
I know.
At this point, I really don't care.
I understand that. I care.
I think he's doing an amazing job, and he's doing the best for the country. Right. And I hope something happens out of all of this shit that the people of Iran could be free too. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Well, there's no deal. That's the problem. No,
oh my God. I said done deal in my opinion. Oh my God.
Yeah. The problem.
Yeah, that's all good, man.
It's not all good.
It's not all good. I get it. Holy shit. I said I'm saying to myself. Honest, it's all good.
All right. I didn't realize you were You didn't know you were unmuted.
No, I was unmuted. I said honest, it's okay. It's all good. You said
you're talking to yourself.
You don't know this guy?
Yes.
Damn, he's fiery.
Yes.
Cool.
That's what
I respect you.
I expect you to. I want the president to be fiery.
Well, he is. Better than Biden. Better than the one before.
That's a very low bar. He's better than somebody who walks.
He's got more balls than anybody of them.
Huh?
He's got more balls than any of them.
Yes, he does.
And he really, truly cares for the country.
Well,
else he'd be on Mar-a-Lago playing golf all fucking day long. He really cares for the country. And he's doing an amazing job. So far, he's done shit that no president has done.
I want some progress on Iran.
Well, you should text him. Tell him that.
I did. I texted him last night.
So you have 24 hours to give me an update.
What update?
No, you tell him. 24 hours to give me an update. It's CP too.
He got back to me already. What he wrote?
No, I really don't care. But I think me and you were saying the same thing, but you're aggressive, I'm aggressive, so it's not what it is.
I'll tell you
The same thing.
I'll tell you what he wrote.
No, I don't want to know. I don't know.
I want to tell the other.
I don't want to know.
Okay, you can mute up.
Ask them if they don't want to. If they
Every single day, I will be fighting for you with every breath in my body.
for you,
I will to me. I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. President Trump. This
That's
will
what's
really be the golden age of
you think you this.
yeah. That's
Personally. Wow.
so there's some progress.
John, man, I didn't know we had this kind of situation. Trump.
Obama follows me too.
Fuck Obama.
Well, I don't roll that way.
My opinion. You know how many million dollars he gives to this to Iran? That's why I say fuck you with it. Obama.
Too many.
Yeah. And you didn't use 1 penny for the people of Iran?
They used it to spread terror.
Exactly. So fuck Obama. I love him. He's a good people too, but fuck him for doing that shit. Fuck him. If it's $1 of that money went to the people of Iran, I wouldn't say this. But you can't deal with crazy motherfucking terrorism motherfuckers like this. You can't deal with them. These people need to be taken out.
That's what I was hoping he would do.
Yeah, that's what I hope he's going to do too. You can't deal with terrorism. It's so sad to say that, but the government is not with the people of Iran. People of Iran are amazing, educated, fun, loyal, hospitable. But these government, you just use the Quran, the Islam shit, and their own benefit. Islam said, "Oh, okay, 9 years old, it's okay." They do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, he said he has a.
They go party all day long.
He said Trump says he has a formula, and his formula, he believes that an internal promotion, the same way you run a corporation, do you bring in an outside executive consultant, or do you bring in somebody from the inside that knows the culture, knows the organization for 10, 20 years? So that's what he's referring to, is that this blustering threat may emerge. He's not happy with the Ayatollah's clone, in the same way that Pyongyang clones his child, the next thing you know, you get the same spitting branded image. He's not happy with that, but we'll see what happens.
Iran, inside and outside of Iran, they're calling one person's name, right? I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's bad. We have a lot of amazing people inside of Iran. They could be amazing presidents or whatever, right? But the people of Iran are calling one person, which is the Shah's son. Okay? That's the only name. They're not calling my name. They're not calling El's name. They're not calling John.
Yeah, we get it. We understand. We understand how branding and marketing and all these things work. But again, yeah, he's got a brand. The Shah of Iran has name brand recognition. He's a name.
Languages. He flew jets. He was educated. He went to France. These Muslims, they don't even know how to speak one language, right? These guys were with class. They have respect. They have learned. They have education. They have, in the world, they're very respected. Okay, I'm not saying he was good or bad. None of my business. But the people of Iran have one person they're chanting his name, right? So they say Trump hasn't met with them, but from the insides, I heard that they've met many times. Okay, but it's very hard to put him in position because these people are terrorists. You kill one of them, 20 other people, brainwash people come out. So whatever happens, man, I always just wish the best for the people inside of that country, whatever country it is, right? The people inside of that country, I hope they get what they deserve.
So he said during his speech today that they were actually actively engaged in an attack during the speech. So, tomorrow, yeah, he said it during his press today. He says, as a matter of fact, as I'm speaking to you right now, we are attacking them right now. So
Oh, wow, I didn't hear that. I was at a casino. Sorry, I
yeah,
didn't hear that.
no, I don't know what he was referring specifically to.
Wait, who are we attacking, John?
Nobody.
Trump said that today during the presser that as he is speaking, he is actively attacking them at some facility.
He said, hang on a second. He said that we're attacking Iran right now?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
John?
For the fourth time, Trump said during the presser today, actually, as I am speaking to you right now, we are attacking them right now.
I hope so. I didn't hear that either, but I hope so. Because when a terrorist organization, which is the government of Iran, put the bounty on the president of America, these people are non-negotiable. We need to take that organization out. The Iranian government needs to go. They're a threat to everybody in the world, right? With the balls to say that to Trump. I hope he did, and I hope these motherfuckers leave because I love Trump, and he has the balls. I love it, but you can't
Well,
help the U.S. military.
I do know that the Iranian people love Trump, and the Israeli people love Trump.
Yeah.
So I hope the American people love him as much as the people from other countries.
50-50 from what I think.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm in Arizona. I'm in Scottsdale, Republican city, but here a lot of people, everybody loves Trump. But from what I'm seeing, I mean, there's a lot of crazy shit happening in our own country. You know, like who are these people? Where'd they come from? You know what I'm talking about? But man, I hope what John heard is a fact, and I hope he takes these motherfuckers out. I love fucking Trump. He's doing the best for the country, and I really feel he's doing it from the bottom of his heart. It isn't even the money or anything. He's doing it. So I hope he's right. Hello?
Hello?
You're not talking anymore?
Interesting that Tulsi Gabbard is gone. Thomas Massey gone, and now gives Trump more leeway to engage in his war. And this is not a Barack Hussein Obama war. This isn't even a George Bush war. This is a Donald Trump war where to the victor goes the spoils. The press agent says, "Do you think it's okay for Iran to continue doing the tolls?" He says, "Oh yeah, I think we are going to do our own tolls." Oh, he said, "Oh, you said Iran did the toll." No, America's going to be doing the tolls from now on. America is going to be the one receiving the benefits, not Iran, because we've destroyed them. We've crushed their navy. They don't have a navy. And then he says that the closing tactic of using uh, mines in the strait is all psychological. He doesn't even think there are any mines in the strait. And so this was a big presser. He spoke unrestricted for at length, and he even probably said things that he shouldn't have said. He was talking about a secret weapon that we used in Venezuela. We have some type of secret EMP weapon. And he said, I don't know, maybe in a few years we'll talk about it. But when they went to push their buttons, nothing worked. They pushed their button, nothing worked.
Kitover, why do you think that it wasn't run on any of the networks? When you were playing it, I checked on Fox News, I checked on CNN, and even News Nation, and none of them were carrying it. Why do you think? Was it a live person that you were playing?
Yeah, live on the internet. They're gonna release their edits. They're gonna release their clips. Um
Go that presser? Was it in the White House briefing room or?
Yeah, it was in the press room. I had no idea that this press event was even happening until that guy Joe Hero. I said, "What are you doing today?" He goes, "I'm watching Trump do a live press conference right now." I said, "Really?"
Hello? Is this room active? We're bombing Iran. We're bombing Iran right now? Yeah. Are you serious? According to God. Did they announce it? Because what's his name? Trump, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, and I think another one all met at the White House today or yesterday. Saw that. It's not a major one, though. I think it's a little nudge. That's what Don said. I didn't hear it. John, you think it's right? John?
Yeah, I don't know what he was referring to specifically. It was some type of facility or something.
Some kind of facility?
That's what he said as he was speaking. He said, "Right now." And everything. He looked over to Secretary Hegseth. So
I'm not getting it on any of my intelligence feeds.
he could have been talking about something else, but I didn't mishear him, or like he said actively now, not in terms of like a massive strike, but it was some type of coordinated specific attack. And he said if they don't come into compliance by 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, he said that's it. He says we're sending it back to the Stone Age. And he said he said they requested 7 days. He said I said give them 10. And we got Steve Witkoff right here. And Steve says, "Sir, they have no ability to communicate. They have no communication response system. They're passing notes in secret with children. They can't communicate with us." So this was Trump's message to them, to the world.
What does compliance mean in this case?
It means whatever Donald Trump says it means.
So they got to do something. They got to show us something. Show me the money.
That's probably what it is. And he says he's also doing this for China, who he has great relations with. He said China's the one that's getting decimated here, their economy, not being able to bring in their energy requirements. So he's doing it for the world. And tomorrow, if they don't come into compliance, he has made the threat that he is going to send them back to the Stone Age. He also said that the USS Abraham Lincoln had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rockets shot at it, and the technology on the ship is so advanced they were able to eliminate 100% of all incoming rocket strikes. He says that type of technology was never available just up 10 years ago. He criticized Obama to a very high degree. He this was a lot of information that came out with today with this presser, and I clipped it. It's on all my YouTube accounts, and the comments are FDT, FDT, FDT. That's what Trump has a way of triggering people. Uh, you know, it's unbelievable. Yep. He just today is a difficult day for many people, and you know it's it's a you problem because, as Trump said, 7 presidents have kicked this can down the road, and Trump is not a can kicker. He's a project manager. He's a construction manager. He understands timelines, and as you heard, he speaks like a developer. Oh, we're 7 weeks ahead of schedule. Excellent. Now we have 4 more additional weeks to do this and do. The man is your worst enemy. He is the destroyer of your union. Oh, you want to take it a day at a time, huh? Well, DJT does not sleep. DJT is a very hardworking, well organized person. And guess what? The New York Times calls him out on his mental health. And he says, "Well, I haven't heard that one yet." So he's not easily rage baited himself. And he frames everything in terms of his political victory. It's just incredible to watch him speak because it is like a clubhouse room. That is his clubhouse life. That is his house. That is his room, and he brings the people in, and it's just like a clubhouse room. And people respect him. And when he's speaking, nobody interrupts him. And it's just incredible to watch him communicate. But this was a big room. Thanks for being a part of it. Um, yeah, it's like a 2-hour event this morning. I went to Chabad last night, read the 10 Commandments, brought it up today with Steve Appel, brought up the first 2 commandments. Caleb was trying to explain it to them, and it's just such a mystery for them. They can't understand basic English language, don't understand the law. They think every law in the 10 Commandments should be destroyed. Means nothing to them. It's delusional. It's crazy. How can Steve Appel? "Oh, I'm a Jewish atheist. Next time you go to your Chabad, ask your rabbi. Is it a contradiction? Are there Jewish atheists?" He'll say, "Yes, of course there." Steve Appel is such a schmuck, and I mean, I like him still, but I'm just saying that if you don't like the book club and you don't want to pick up a book and have some fun, well, you're a boring person. Atheists are just boring. They refuse to use the technology of language to engage in playful fun. Not, I can understand the criticism of, violent genocide and wars, but, you know, people are boring, El Normo. And as somebody who has made a lot of content, a lot of scripts, don't they understand how it all works? Are they is it just because they've never actually engaged in the creative process full cycle? Clubhouse is the limited experiment attempt of some people to create a show. Ask the atheist. I guess that's what's happening here. But he doesn't even have a YouTube channel. Hello? He comes from the world of radio. He's a little bit behind technologically. By the way, CBS Radio in New York just went off the air after 100 years of being on the air, apparently. Why? Because it's just not profitable. They're just shutting it down. Yeah, but why do they have to shut? See, that's the thing is they can just run their content. I guess maybe the platform costs are just not. It's too overwhelming to distribute. It's too bad, but I'm sure that they'll sell the assets, right? They probably already sold the assets. Probably sold it to Soros. Or they sold it to Ellison.